my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. She's keeping secrets. Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. Oh my god, is she really like on truth serum? What have I done? Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up and try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. Well, that can't be true because the lantern didn't have a light. Yeah, was not lit the night of the crime. I object, Maya. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? She tried to protect them. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, the stone lantern was out of commission. What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait, lot, whatever. Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Tright's words are the milk. Wait, are the milk and you are the spoon, Your Honor? I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick, may I? Recall the witness's statements about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her. No! Oh, I think I know. Oh no. Oh, really? What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? You saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions? Trey, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. Well, there was something. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. You talk a good game, Trite. But let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black. So what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Oh no. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the law. Of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? It can only be one person. Yeah, if I look at any of these other people, what do they all have in common? They don't have a bit of machinery attached to their face that would light up. Oh, that does light up. God, really? I'm just sad. I want it to be Godot. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Yeah, turn off the light. Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Oh. Okay, maybe not. What? This is... But it can't be. Unless it's... Is it doing a really, like, slow reveal? Oh god, yeah it is. Oh my god, that's so creepy. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Hey! I was not expecting it to light up that much. So that's why she could tell it was a man. But then again, if it was a visor, that would have given it away anyway. Who else in this game wears that? Well, everyone? This is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order, order, order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Oh, pardon me. Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Oh, she's covering for him. Maya. I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. What? What? Witness, Mr. Wright, what the... Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Jeez. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please let us know... please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realise it until after I woke up, but... Oh yeah, she passed out, didn't she? The killer! My god. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the snow lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No need to apologise. It's as Mr. Godot said. You're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. The killer. Hold it! So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you into the inner temple, it could only have been the killer. That's what I think too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Oh god. Naturally the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Okay, so this is one where I have to do in a specific order. Torches were lit and the body was gone. The torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them, since it being impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. Yeah, it was awfully, like, carved out. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangle, or rectangular shape, around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of victims' blood sprayed on the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with the blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the blood, just the snow that was stained with blood. Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue, but I think this will help explain them. Yeah, it doesn't seem worthy. Do I have enough information for this? The place had totally changed. Naturally the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so, but why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yeah. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. In which case, why did they not clean the stone pillar? Or lantern? It's still got blood on it. That's twice I've used this. The body of Elise was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd. Oh? And what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. Hey, Sinks. Thanks for the follow. How's it going? Hope all's well. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern? You're right. I think we know why. I mean, we went over it earlier. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow. Then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. Objection! But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behaviour? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? Simple. I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? Because he didn't notice it. As was evidenced earlier in the trial. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? Oh god, it's Godot again. Mr. Godot. This is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colours you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before. During the poisoning case at Tribulations. Oh yeah, you couldn't see that. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-coloured stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. God, look at his smile. Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you couldn't see the red writing on the lantern? Whew, boy. Hey, Gramps. Didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. Oh my. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise, whatever her name is, also known as Miss Misty Fey. It's hard to believe that this may be true, however, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in a red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into a killer? Oh, into the killer. Besides, it's not like it's my name written on there, or that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the colour red. This is rich, do go on, try it. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. In the snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honour, you said it yourself. If they wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yes, why didn't they take just that area? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so, he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. They would have been able to see fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? My goodness. Wait, who said hold it? Oh, Maya. Wait, just a minute. Oh, just wait a minute. Maya. What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. Maya can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm... Oh dear. After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't... I'm afraid I don't follow. You senile old man? We established this just a little while ago. Yeah, she channeled Dahlia Hawthorne. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honour, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Oh god. Do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honour, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Nicely done, Trey. Alright. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But that little girl was there at the inner temple too. Pearl, I'm guessing. Okay, so after the incident. Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. Oh yeah, I was trying to press it. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. Oh, pardon me. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first, and cheered her right up. Okay. So who is this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearlfey. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot, let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright, let's get this cross-examination started. We're really close to the end of the game. Yeah. After the incident. So where did you... Wait, what the heck? Where did do? I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to say, but where did you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place? It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise. The next morning she looked around but couldn't find anyone. So she searched the entire inner temple side, end to end? Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. There's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There was a storage shack too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place where I would investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. When the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge. And when you say them, you mean Gumshoe. What do you mean? Just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl. All alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cabin. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with a trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. So it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't have been for this case, I never would have visited there. Freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So we had never visited Hazakura Temple, or the inner temple, huh? You want to say something, Trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Mia, that is. Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the inner temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot found Pearlie first, and cheered her right up. So he cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Huh. Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. Truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden, with fine-toothed combs. Not toothed. Combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style. Not Godot style, even. Godot. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way. Judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions. Phoenix style. God. Right, Godot's investigation. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. clad in her stunning Japanese garb surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Wait, how did he know it was Misty? I'm confused. Would he have known it was her? I guess so. Western tastes. Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there you headed for the prep room. Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise. So Pelly was also stuck on... Oh, right, yeah. Oh, wait, no. So it would be this that he was on about. Obscured by gravy. Mmm, delicious. Mr. Godot. The first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Oh wait, yeah, it would have been. I didn't even realise. Because he said he saw her. And he wouldn't have if she was obscured by gravy. Yeah, because he kind of described it in detail. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot was right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Oh!